Hey everyone, we are here on another Chef to Chef Live presented by Club and Resort Chef Association. We made our way back to Northern California with a couple of chefs from San Francisco Bay Area. We got Jason Ray from the Olympic Club in San Francisco, and we got Colin Moody from the club at Pasadera in Monterey, California. Chef, you're representing Chef to Chef conference material there with your chef coat. I like it. Cool. Hey guys, thanks for joining me today. I know it's about 2:30 there in the afternoon on a Thursday there in San Francisco. What I'd like to start out talking about is something we've been touching base about lately. Is where's your operation at right now, as opposed to what you'd normally be doing if this weren't a kind of a non-COVID situation. Chef Jason, if you want to start us out and tell us where your operation is right now.
Sure, yeah. So we're running about 10% as far as revenues concerns, about 25% of the normal staff. And, you know, we're trying to be open as many services as possible for the members. But just, you know, all of our banquet and catering operations have been shut down. So we've moved our smaller restaurant kitchen, everything upstairs to the banquet operation. We're utilizing the bigger banquet kitchen just with the smaller staff to do about 10 services a week, you know, lunch and dinner, 5 days a week, with a couple of menus running at a time, whether it be for lunch on the patio or like a bar menu for the bar area. But, you know, like I said, about 10% revenue, which is, you know, we normally do on the weekends, 800 covers a day, and, you know, we're doing 80 right now. So
did you see that vary from March to June, or is it just off that whole time? It just slowed down quite a bit.
Well, so we can't fit any more people onto we have relatively small patios. Yeah. So we're just kind of maxed out at those numbers. So we couldn't really host any more people if we tried.
So California right now as a state is a non-inside dining right now still? Yeah.
Correct. Yeah.
Jeff, real quick, let me stay with you. Could you explain the dichotomy? Because we had Derek Ingram on, Chef Derek Ingram, a couple of weeks ago as well. Explain the dichotomy of how you guys share that position at Olympic Club and what your role is and what his role.
Yeah, so both the operations are full-size jobs. Like it wouldn't really work with just one person because there's just too much going on at the same time. And so it's just, you know, he runs the city portion, and the city portion is, you know, 9 floors of gyms and basketball courts and people going to and from work. And, you know, I think he's got 3 outlets there. Where out here, I've got a couple of outlets plus a full banquets and catering operation. And so we definitely talk to each other on, you know, purveyors, food menu pricing, things like that. So there's some consistency, but, you know, he really goes for that kind of downtown city feel with his cuisine. And then I have definitely more of a kind of a country laid back, relaxed, you know, farm to table type atmosphere out here.
Cool. Chef Colin, about your operation, I'm sure you're not at 10% right now, I hope.
We've actually been pretty fortunate. We have a fairly large outside dining area, which we expanded. You know, right out of the gate when they shut down, we went to to-goes, which were actually quite huge. You know, we shrunk our operation days, but as far as like pickups and stuff, we were hitting around 80 to 90%. We were fortunate in the sense that we have a smaller gated community, so I think it benefited them to not have to leave the gates and go out to the fray and, you know, find a meal. So we were fortunate there. Then as we opened up more outside dining, it's been fantastic. The weather's been good. I mean, we've been fortunate for sure. We're probably sitting around 60-70%. Of course, no banquets or any of that kind of stuff, but yeah, we've been super fortunate.
Yeah, a lot of the clubs in the Midwest, the East Coast, a lot of guys I talk to, they're actually up a la carte volume because they haven't had those restrictions for inside seating. So a lot of their a la carte is probably 20 to 30% up instead of down. So they see a lot of members using the club because it's a comfort level for them. They don't feel comfortable using, you know, a restaurant or something that they're unfamiliar with, or, you know, that has maybe not paying attention as much to, you know, some of the restrictions. So you guys are just in a little different situation in California for sure, as far as, you know, just the outside seating and everything.
Yeah, and I a la carte specifically, we're probably sitting, you know, closer to 100, sometimes 110% if you fold in the to-goes and some of that curbside stuff. But yeah, it's the banquets that's really dropped off our, you know, overall revenue, like I'm sure up at Olympic and other places.
Let's stay on a topic and let's talk about the outdoor seating and what is the mood, and tell me some of the brainstorms that your boards or your upper management have come up with. San Francisco is going to get cold pretty soon, and what are some creative ways you guys have started to kind of brainstorm about, you know, keeping people coming to eat at the club if the outdoor seating is, you know, starting to be limited? Chef Jason.
So I think in our mind, we're thinking we got till the end of October before the weather drastically changes. And so we're kind of keeping our fingers crossed that they're going to allow indoor dining before then. You know, if they don't, we're just going to have to come up with, you know, a tent type situation and heaters with open sides. But we have to make sure that the patios and stuff that we have can support them because they're on top of other buildings. So that's, you know, we've got the few logistics to work out, but I think everybody's really just kind of keeping their fingers crossed because it's not just the club that'll suffer. It's all the restaurants in the city. So I think everyone's just kind of hoping that, you know, by November 1st we can get open.
Yeah, I hope so too. Chef Colin, any contingency plans for outdoor seating or?
Yeah, I mean, I concur. There's only so much you can do because you start to run into the problems. Okay, we're going to tent it because of inclement weather, but you have to have heat, which conflicts directly with having, you know, that kind of overhead tenting. So the open sides will help, I believe, with the airflow. But I think we are all hoping that they loosen it a little bit, or at least have limited indoor dining with spacing. So we've looked at, you know, some of our larger dining areas, if we could open the doors, because a lot of this is based on airflow. We have real high ceilings. Now, if we had some good distancing, 8 to 10 feet, we really could continue with at least 60% capacity. So we're hoping for that as well.
Yeah, I hope so too. Keep everybody employed. What's something unique that both you chefs have gone through in the last 5 months of kind of a crazy time that is here to stay? In other words, something you employed during this pandemic that is going to stay. Could it be, Chef Colin, maybe more carryouts, or can you guys think of something that you guys started to do that you're probably going to continue doing for the next year or two?
Yeah, for me, certainly that customized service, that meal packs to go for the elderly, the ones that feel risk, they're probably going to continue regardless of what restrictions get loosened. I think they're going to continue to like that. And they've loved the meals to go, the packing, the pickup, the curbside. Now they got drinks to go. So what's the reason to cruise through your courtyard, pick up a drink? And honestly, Taco Tuesdays are the big one. I can't let that go again. Like, they're loving the Taco Tuesday pack. So that's a big piece. And I think the produce boxes, they've enjoyed picking up like a little organic produce box for themselves, so they can kind of double down when they pick up their meal and also get some produce for the week.
Did you do those obviously the tacos you got to put together? Did you do those produce boxes yourself? Did you, assess those, or did you order them like that?
Started with a San Francisco specialty. They had their boxes, but now because the volume went down, we're doing our own custom boxes. So it's a build your own box, which is kind of, and we've had some fish purveyors offer for a pickup for, you know, their fish drops, and then a pasta company is willing to do that. So just kind of being a local pickup spot beyond just meal. You can pick up pantry items, you can pick up other stuff, just to kind of be that everything for them, so they don't have to go out on the town.
Yeah, I think everybody found that pretty useful. Jason, I'm not sure if you got into any of that yourself, but talk to me about something that you have done recently that you just feel like you won't be able to stop doing, or it's a benefit to the members. Is it something similar?
Well, I think definitely the timed pickup for to-go items will definitely stay, because people really like that. They're like, I'm going to come by at 7:15. the food just got cooked, just got packaged up, and they can take it home and eat it. It's hot and fresh. So we're definitely going to keep with that. But the biggest thing I've kind of gotten to do out of this is really spend more time with the members that are coming every day. And so I'm like touching every table, checking in, making sure I know everybody's names, asking them how the food is. When, kind of being honest, before, like, we were a pretty busy operation, and sometimes you just kind of have to focus on, making sure everything's running smoothly. So nothing gets dropped anywhere. And so I think, what I'm going to continue on with this is really just that real connection with the members.
It's awesome. I'm sure they appreciate it. You do a lot of that, Colin. You go kind of walk around the dining room when you can.
Yeah, for sure. And I agree. It's been more of like a niche custom market to where you're not getting so overwhelmed that you walk down the dining room, you'd be leaving the kitchen abandoned. Now it's it's paced out well, where you could actually, I think the members are getting a better, fuller experience, and if they ask for a request, it's a lot easier to get done, so it's pretty cool that way.
Yeah, the culinary field and the club industry here, we all felt like they dialed in a good reservation system during this time, where they're spacing things out. We're just hoping that stays, because we all know it's once everybody starts coming back to the club, all that's probably going to go by the wayside, and it's going to get back to we're seating 600 people tonight all of a sudden, and there's all that goes to the wayside. So we're all hoping some of this kind of stays. Let's talk about banquets. Has there been any kind of creative either practices or ways to serve either banquet meals or banquets that you guys have done recently? And what are you thinking about in the future, 6 months from now, as things start to relax a little bit, or whenever it's going to be? Talk to me about the banquet operation and what kind of brainstorming you've been trying to do with some of the the ideas behind that, Chef Colin.
Yeah, we did an outside banquet for 40 and kind of got our hands slapped a little bit. We were outside, socially distanced, but still people were like, hey, you got to reel that back. So going forward, like this weekend, we're doing a little member just tournament amongst them. So of course we're just doing an upscale, very nice box lunch. There's not much else we can do, really.
Yeah.
Going forward, we talked about just doing more all stations and having, a partition of some sort for a pickup. You just prepare the meal fresh, they pick it up. They should be able to socially distance that way. You're limited on how big a banquet you can do. So I can see that going forward. We might have some limitations on numbers, but it's really just keeping the distancing, having, a freshly prepared meal. So getting away from any kind of a buffet situation. We can still potentially do plated, but where they sit is going to be the issue, I think.
I think that's an interesting, and a lot of people have talked about that. Are the buffets gonna just literally go away? Are we gonna, our banquets and buffets gonna be plated meals that people just pick up one plate and that's it? They go sit down and eat it, and then remember all the small plates we used to do, or the stations and everything like that? I wonder if they're just gonna be all small plates right now instead of any kind of changes at all.
It's a safe way to go. You can put up a partition that way. People can pick up what they want. It probably will depend on the tolerance of the group, because some obviously are more open and don't care, and others are going to be more sensitive to it. I think it might be more, customized to who's putting the thing together.
Yeah. Chef Jason, what are you guys kind of brainstorming on as far as trying to get past this with the banquets?
Yeah, I think he was spot on, where it's, definitely more stations. And then, the days of people sharing the same utensils and standing over food and breathing on it are gone for a while. But yeah, the stations is what we're focusing on. We have nice big tables that we can use to kind of keep the members, 6 feet back from the cooks. But, whether that's just like a nice, breakfast wrap station where people can walk up and be like, oh, I'll take some eggs and bacon and potatoes and cheese, and we make it for them right there, and then just hand it over on a plate, where they're not really just kind of helping themselves anymore. And then some of our biggest meal periods are on Sundays, when we have the Sunday buffets and the Sunday night dinners, and we've modified all of that to go to a la carte. So you can still come get a crab cake Benedict, but it's not going to be out on the station. You just got to order it and some fruit,
Yeah. It is what it is. I think that's all we can say, right? It is what it is, and just got to keep rolling with it. Talk to me about last weekend. You had the PGA Championship across the street, Harding Park, at least across the street from Olympic Club. Did you guys see a little bit of an uptick? Was there excitement around the clubs? Did members come in and either watch it, or obviously a lot of them might have volunteered in a normal year, but what was it? Was there a little more buzz around the club because of the PGA being right down the street? Chef Colin? Or go ahead, Chef Jason.
Yeah, Jason, I didn't have any, no.
No, yeah. Actually, I'd say if anything, it was kind of a bummer because, like championship week in the city is supposed to be, a pretty fun event. And then, no crowds were allowed. So, the club, like I said, we're already at capacity on the weekends. There's only so much we can fit. And so those people were all here already. We had TVs up for everyone to watch. Some of the pros couldn't bring any like spouses or coaches with them. So some of them were brought by members as guests of the club to hang out and watch. But really, I think the saying was, it just doesn't feel like a championship week in San Francisco. But watching it on TV was spectacular. I mean, the tournament itself turned out to be amazing. I think the people that put it on did a great job considering the circumstances. And hopefully, this won't be too long of a thing where we can't have crowds.
Yeah, I agree. Chef Colin, kind of the same thing, like waiting for it to come, and then all of a sudden it's here and gone without too much fanfare, or what was?
I mean, we did put out some TVs around for people, but most people just stay at home. We had maybe twice as many people for our happier hour play, but it was exciting to watch. But yeah, there was really not much on a food and beverage side, unfortunately. Pretty anticlimactic.
Yeah. You guys have a nice little clique there in Northern California. I know the ACF was trying to revive itself a bit right now, but talk to me about your network out there. Obviously, we're in the Club and Resort Chef Association is trying to get club chefs together to talk and everything. Talk to me about how important it is for you guys to reach out. You obviously know each other, and several other Northern California chefs we had on a couple weeks ago. How important is that for you guys to reach out to each other and kind of support each other and ask each other about purveyors or menus or specials or something?
Yeah, it's for me, it's hugely important. We're about an hour and a half south of San Francisco, so it usually keeps a little bit more localized, and I'd love to branch out more. So it's great talking to Jason and other people. I was recently at MPCC for the last 10 years, and I started this club, the resurgence of this club. But the network's huge and important. As far as the ACF, I used to be part of the Monterey chapter for Casino. I was the chairman for a while, and that network's fun. I feel like the club chef more specifically has been very valuable because we have our unique circumstances. I think it really helps to go, hey, what are you doing? What's working? Because we have all of our customers are repeat customers, right? They're home away from share those best practices. So for me, going to the Chef to Chef conference for the first time in North Carolina was really helpful, and it's really branched out who I've met and talked to, not only in California, but all over. So it's been hugely beneficial. It's been really cool.
That's great. Chef Jason, what about your network there in Northern California? I know you.
Yeah, I really got to thank Chef to Chef for kind of connecting all of us. It's funny, I met most of the guys there for the first time, and then once we kind of all exchanged information and we came back, and now we got a text chain where we're sending each other whatever specials we're putting out that night, or if you're looking for a new purveyor, you can kind of get some feedback and see who likes using who and who to avoid, or and I've even seen people texting back and forth about open positions and things like that. So it's really great in that sense. And even with the pandemic, I was able to reach out to some of the other clubs who were allowed to open up before we were, and go and see what they were doing and get some ideas, and so really appreciative of Matt and Thayer and all the guys around at the other clubs.
Yeah, it's invaluable really for us. I'm in Chicago, and just the network of people we have in a very close proximity, it's pretty special. Speaking of that, certification. I lost you, Colin. Go ahead.
I got a member out in Chicago that's missing the chili relleno, so I just overnighted some to him today.
So is certification important to, I know Chef Colin, you're a CEC, Chef Jason, have you worked towards a certification? Are you thinking about it? We're trying to get something together in the club chefs as far as certification. Is that important to you guys?
I mean, I think you really got to go for certifications as long as you're going to, get something out of it and learn, like that's what kind of draws me is the educational aspect, and so, and there's also some, kind of return on investment that I know that people hope to get out of it. But I think as long as you kind of feel as if you're going to learn to be, better organized and better prepared, and maybe a few new cooking tricks and how to really kind of tap into the people who are critiquing you and kind of be able to figure out what your guests want basically, then you need those skills, then go out and get them. So I like out west, there's not a huge certification program. So as I was kind of coming through the ranks, I really didn't know much about it. And so I'm always interested in learning. I'm also, sitting for the CMAA, which is, so I'm not just a chef, but also a club manager. And that's really just so I have a thorough understanding of the industry. So.
Cool. Chef Colin, what's your take on it?
Yeah, I had, I came up hard knocks myself, working stations and got certified later. I started working under Master Chef Hennon, who had 100 of us executive chefs to corral around in Delaware North properties, but invaluable. Like I didn't go seeking it. I came up the same way. I think the hard knocks is important because you have to work a station before you can, supervise the station. So that was important, but I also feel like the certification kind of trains your weak points. So maybe you came up on, one side, one cuisine or some kind of weak points, which we all have to it. So I like that piece. And especially I did the CEC, but I did the Pro Chef 2 also, which was through the CIA, which I think was a little more extensive and a little more intense, because it's like a 5-day deal and you have, garbage day, you have all these different healthy cooking, you have baking. So that was invaluable for me. I found it very, very cool. I didn't seek it out, but I think afterwards it made me a far better chef.
Well, sure. That's almost a bridge between the CEC and the CMC. It sounds like, because just a little more specific towards it. Chefs, lastly, I try to ask all the chefs that I have on about what they can take off their menu. We are in obviously North California here. If I talk to people in Virginia, it's a crab cake. In the Midwest, it's like, don't touch our barbecue ribs. Talk to me about on your menu. What's something that you just can't take off? Chef Jason, you were just talking to me before we recorded about doing a new menu. What are a couple of things that you looked at the menu and said, it's got to stay?
Oh, there's this salad that's been around here for like 40 years called the Swanson. It's just basically shredded romaine, like a massive pile of Dungeness crab, Thousand Island, and a couple of eggs, and like hard-boiled eggs. So all I did was turn the eggs into deviled eggs and made sure we make a nice, good Thousand Island in the house. And people, I get it. It's enjoyable. Like I get it. I see the staying power. It's also like 70% food cost because they expect a massive pile of crab. So, that's not going anywhere. And yeah, I mean, hey, have fun with it, right?
Yeah. You don't do anything to the crab. You don't season it. It just right on top.
Like fresh cooked Dungeness crab. So just make sure it's super fresh. shredded lettuce, a couple of lemons, a couple deviled eggs. We put some marinated cherry tomatoes on there, but really it's just all about the crab and Thousand Island, and people love it.
What's the price point on per pound on a Dungeness crab right now? The meat.
I think it's like $32 a pound for picked meat.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Kind of about the price of a jumbo lump on the East Coast. It's about $30 a pound or something. Yeah. Chef Colin, you got something good, don't you?
Well, no, it's funny because it's never anything crazy, right? It's like a crab Louis that. Sand dabs. I can't take the sand dabs off. It's just a breaded sand dab, a Bear Blanc and a Forbidden Wild Rice. You could try and do some stuff to it, but they don't want it overcomplicated. These are comfort meals,
Yeah.
That cured steak, tends to go off. And of course the ahi tuna tacos seem to be a new favorite, but every time you put something else on, that's like the new favorite too. And then all of a sudden you can change less and less because there's the club favorites and you're like, I'm trying to stay seasonal. So it's a challenge. So I've kind of come to, here's the club favorites and then here's the seasonal offering. So these will change, but don't worry, we got you covered. That's what
it's always a great option when you have members saying, when are you going to put that back on the menu? Isn't it?
Yeah.
Because you can hold them off for a little while and you put it back and they're so grateful for it. And then you took off something else for somebody. So it's always nice to have those things in your pocket when you're doing a new menu, because you don't want to do it too often, right? You don't want to put it on too often. You want to keep it kind of special for the members. So good for you guys.
So that's fun.
Cool. Hey chefs, thanks man. We're out of time, but appreciate all the time you gave me, and good luck this season, and hopefully you get your dining rooms open by October and make everybody's lives a little bit easier. So.